Super Mario Galaxy is one of my favorite game series of all time, and even though it's been over 10 years since the first two games launched, I'm very hopeful that someday we'll get a third installment. Though, in order to warrant a third installment, they'd have to implement some fresh new ideas that would help it stand out from the first two games, and still have some new, awesome content that wouldn't make it feel stale or bland. So here's 10 ideas I came up with for a potential Super Mario Galaxy 3 game. Number 1. Cooperative gameplay. And I'm not talking about player 2 helping out player 1, but rather, 2 players controlling 2 characters at the same time. How would this work? I'm not sure exactly, but the best solution I can think of is having player 1 be the main camera focus, whilst player 2, if they get too far away from Mario, can teleport back like something akin to the teleporting beam from Super Smash Bros. Brawl's Subspace Emissary mode. Co-op can really improve the experience of a game and its replay value, and just make it so much more fun to play through, as well as add another layer of depth. It's definitely something I'd like to see in a title like Galaxy. And of course, the Lumas could still help out if you have a third and fourth player that want to assist, functioning just like they did in Super Mario Galaxy 2. But yeah, co-op gameplay can make a game so much better, so if they were somehow able to implement that, it'd be a winner already. My second suggestion is for a more open hub world. In Galaxy 1, we got the Comet Observatory, a large space-like hub area that contained Lumas, Star Bunnies, and Rosalina, as well as multiple different rooms where you could access new galaxies, and overall was just a cool hub area for space. And then in Galaxy 2 we got the Face Ship, which was obviously Mario's face as a spaceship. It was smaller and there was less exploring to do, but it made traversing through galaxies much easier. For a third Galaxy game, I prefer something more in line with Galaxy 1's space-like hub area, combined with Galaxy 2's easier navigation. What I think would be cool is if they used Peach's castle and converted it to be more space-like in design. Instead of paintings, you have launch stars, Lumas and Star Bunnies can join alongside the Toads, and newer areas would open whenever you retrieve a Grand Star. This kind of ties in with my next point though. Number 3, a good story. So, the plot doesn't have to be expansive, but it could have a little more of a backstory leading up to the event. The first 2 games were actually pretty good in terms of story, and if anyone remembers Rosalina's storybook, well, yeah. If there's a good plot and cutscenes to go along with that plot, just like the first 2 games, it might make for a greater, deeper experience in the Galaxy franchise, and I really hope there is. Number 4 is to have more minor character appearances. Wario is said to be Mario's rival, so maybe he could be a sort of mini-boss you fight in order to get the medal power-up or something. While I'd like to see other Mario series characters make appearances, I wouldn't want too many since the Galaxy games are unique, partially for their many different enemies and bosses throughout. Still, it'd be cool to see them in there. Number 5 is new power-ups. This is obvious, as with any new main series Mario game, that there's likely going to be some new power-ups. I personally came up with the idea of having a monkey mushroom, which would allow Mario to climb up trees and swing on vines. Very creative, I know. A shark mushroom could potentially be an underwater power-up that, you guessed it, turns Mario into a shark. This would allow for better swimming and the ability to attack while underwater. And perhaps a ninja star where Mario becomes a ninja and has to dodge spotlights and enemies as he makes his way through passages and areas and levels where you'd be rewarded for stealth. Not sure how they could really implement this one into a Galaxy game, but Nintendo is really good at wowing us, so who knows. Oh, and F.L.U.D. making a return as an item pickup could make for an interesting change in level structure every once in a while. Also, assuming Yoshi returns, he could have a Squirt Melon be his 5th fruit, functioning similarly, if not the exact same, as in Super Mario Sunshine. Number 6 is actually a mode that I feel would help expand Super Mario Galaxy's longevity. and that is multiplayer mode. Something that could really bring some meat into this series. Multiplayer mode could function similarly to the multiplayer of Super Mario 64 DS. Specifically, where you can play with up to 4 players in a race for collecting the most stars before the time runs out. The way I could best see this implemented in Galaxy is to have a number of different levels, each with their own theme. For example, one level has grassy planets and another level has desert themed planets. And in these levels, players are spawned at different points and travel the level by exploring planets and using launch stars to try and collect the most power stars before time runs out. Maybe there could be different ways to getting power stars, like defeating bosses or killing enough enemies or uncovering a secret area. There's so much variety I could think of with such a mode, that if a third Galaxy game were to come out and not have a multiplayer side mode, it'd be a hugely missed opportunity, and honestly, this is like the basis for what I personally feel could warrant another game. Number 7 is online play. Even though I feel that many games don't need online, including games like Mario Galaxy and Super Mario Odyssey, that's not to say it can't benefit from online play. Similarly to how my first point was having co-op play, even though I was referring to local co-op, one benefit I could see with online co-op would be both players being able to freely move on their own. Whereas in local co-op, Luigi could only be able to get so far away from Mario. When playing online, since both players would have their own screens, there wouldn't have to be a limit for how far away they are from each other. When online, a friend can help another friend to get through levels easier by working together. Also, when online, you could compete against random players in the multiplayer mode that I mentioned before, and even upload your times for how fast you completed a level and obtained the power stars. So there's definitely some good benefits a third Galaxy game could utilize with online functionality. Number 8. Unlockables. When playing through a game, it's always fun to earn new things and unlock new content, which more than often gives us incentive to keep playing through something that we're hopefully already enjoying. Some unlockables could include green stars when finishing the game normally, multiplayer maps to help expand the fun both offline and on, characters to use in multiplayer like Wario or Waluigi, and maybe even something of a boss rush mode. The multiplayer maps I feel would be the best unlockables. Say you start with 5 normally and unlock 5 more for a total of 10 different theme levels in multiplayer, ensuring the fun continues onwards. And since this is Nintendo, I trust they'd make it both rewarding and fun, and not any of this paid on this DLC nonsense. Honestly, that would be terrible. But any kind of unlockables, both for single player and multiplayer content, would ensure good progress. Number 9. This one is plain and simple. Collect 100 coins and get yourself a juicy power star. There's hardly any other reason for collecting coins in the first 2 games besides getting a 1-up and healing, so I feel it'd be a fun alternative to playing a level that could add some replay value, so long as it's easy and not so tedious. Plus, it gives more reason for collecting multiples of coins. That is all. Lastly, for number 10 is to have more unique galaxies. So I think it's safe to say that both Galaxy 1 and Galaxy 2 had a fair amount of fresh new galaxies and new ways to play the game, even if we didn't like all of them. But one of my favorite galaxies was actually the throwback galaxy from Super Mario 64. So as much as I want new galaxies in, which everyone would, it would be awesome to see some more throwbacks. Maybe like a throwback to Chocolate Island, or Bowser's Valley from Super Mario World, or Jungle Safari type galaxy, like something related to Donkey Kong Country in a way. There's so many great ideas. It would be awesome to see what new galaxies they could come up with, as well as maybe throwing a little more throwbacks in there, like the ones I mentioned before. And just to stick with tradition's sake, maybe have the first boss of the first galaxy be the Dino Piranha. In the first game, I know that you smacked its tail and it would bounce back into its head. And then in the second game, you actually smacked its backside to break open its egg. So maybe in the third game, you could like smack its tongue or something that would fly back at its face, like it's trying to hit you with its tongue, slam it down. I have no idea. I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head. But for the last galaxy, the absolute last galaxy in the game, and I know I'm going to get a lot of disagreement with this, but I think it'd be awesome if they made it so that you had to use every power-up in the game, including Yoshi's fruits, in order to complete it. And maybe even have sections like F.L.U.D. and the Manta and the rolling part. They could be small sections, it could be snippets of each, but it would be such a bang to go out with that galaxy. However, what would be an even bigger bang is if, for the prankster comet for that galaxy, it was a combination of the four. A Daredevil speedrun with cosmic clones and needing to collect 100 or more purple coins. That sounds crazy. I mean, the last galaxy in Super Mario Galaxy 2 was hard enough, but when you finally complete it, oh, you feel so accomplished. So if they did something like that, something extreme like that, not making it impossible, but making it challenging, like Super Mario Galaxy 2's final galaxy, challenging like that, then it'd just be a great way to go out. Anyways, thanks for listening. Let me know any ideas you have and what you think of my ideas. If you like some of them, you hate some of them, you're kind of neutral, whatever you think. Let me know in the comments down below, and hopefully we'll see a Super Mario Galaxy 3 sometime in the future on Nintendo Switch. Adios.